right now, we get it. It is winter. It's snowy. Enough already here. And with more storms possibly slamming into our region, with two maybe coming here in the next coming weeks. Well, cold today. Well, that could look like a dusting in the not-too-distant future. And then forget the snow. There's an avalanche burying Chris Christie. A top aide says Christie did know about the bridge debacle as it happened, despite what the governor told voters. So Christie, he smacks back. The latest on Bridgegate, including an update from the people who are investigating the governor. That is coming up. And later, maybe all this snow would have made for a better game. Meadowlands Super Bowl is a dud on the field and a headache on the rails. And, well, some of the ads, though, not so bad. We're going to take a look back at a busy Sunday afternoon. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French, and thank you so much for joining us this Monday evening, February 3rd. Now, we're going to have all that, plus a look back at the life of actor Philip Seymour Hoffman, taken from us far too soon, New York's own. But first here, this reminder, baseball fans, to start off on an uplifting note, and anyone else looking forward to warmer days, catchers and pitchers report to spring training as early as this week. It's probably little consolation to you today, given what Mother Nature smacked us with yet again. Another major storm rolling through our region, making roads super slick this morning and just messing up the morning commute here. We're going to get into all that, plus also a sit-down with a meteorologist to talk about what is in the offing, including two potentially major storms here coming up. But first, let's go look at where we are right now. Let's head out to Newark Airport, where those folks who are looking to get out of town here or get back to either Denver or Seattle, not having too much luck. Fox 1's Raven Santana is live at Newark with more on that.
Yes, getting here was easy, but trying to get out because of this snowstorm is going to be tough, and the weather has complicated the lives of more than 50,000 Super Bowl fans that traveled here to New Jersey for Super Bowl 48. But thanks to fan zones like this, equipped with comfy couches, freebies, and even a foosball table, being stranded here may not be so bad after all. Another round of winter weather has delayed nearly 200 flights and canceled 1,500 nationwide. Here at Newark Liberty International Airport, passengers waited in long lines as inbound flights were delayed nearly 4 hours, delaying people trying to get home from the Super Bowl.
Flight has been delayed 3 times now. We missed one, and I really want to go home.
While some fans are undoubtedly ready to go home, others plan to make the best of it.
We could stay longer. It'd be great to go back to the city, but we're kind of in the situation where it's like, are we going to hang out at the airport or go get a hotel nearby? So if you don't get the flight. Whether
you're a loser or a winner at this year's Super Bowl, it's fan zones like this at every terminal with a foosball table on a makeshift field, complete with souvenirs.
We have luggage tags shaped in a football. They're kind of cute. And also we have stress balls. So for the flight, I guess.
Tomorrow is the last day that the fan zone will be set up in each terminal. And again, for passengers, the best way to know the latest on your status is to contact your airlines. Live at Newark Liberty International Airport, Raven Santana, Fox 1 News.
All right, Raven, thank you. And let's forget about the air travel for a moment, and let's get something closer to home here on the ground here. How is the storm impacting the evening rush? And for that, let's bring in Fox 1's news team. Let's start with Christy Duffy. She's in Ridgefield, New Jersey. But first, let's get in Kevin Vesey. He's reporting from Long Island.
The snow is starting to let up here in Farmingville, but after around 8 inches fell on most of Long Island, the damage is already done. The roads are either wet or slushy, and that's making for a very difficult drive home. I want to show you what I'm talking about. This is the Long Island Expressway service road at exit 63, and as you can see, it's mostly just wet. But drivers say the side roads are still covered in a thin layer of snow and can be downright treacherous.
Sliding all over the place. My traction control light's constantly on. I'm always losing traction on it, and this is an all-wheel drive car.
And as temperatures drop tonight, all these wet roads are expected to have black ice. So if you do have to be out tonight, please drive carefully. In Farmingville, Kevin Vesey, Fox 1 News.
The snow is still coming down lightly where we are, and we have about 5 to 6 inches on the ground here in Ridgefield. As you can see, the roads are looking much better, though. This is Route 95 on the northbound side. You can see plenty of blacktop. The salt and plow trucks have really caught up, and traffic is moving quickly. This after the New Jersey State Police reported nearly 300 accidents on state roads today during the snowstorm. You're commuting home now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Are you worried about the roads?
I am a lot. I'm really nervous.
These bank attendants got out of work early today to make the trek home as road conditions worsened.
It's about 5 to 10 minutes away from here on a good day. With the snow, I really don't know.
If you're not driving, New Jersey Transit is cross-honoring tickets on buses and trains to offer you the quickest and safest route home tonight. In Ridgefield, Christy Duffy, FiOS 1 News.
All right, so the question is, where did this storm come from? We knew we were going to get some snow here, but just how much did we get, and when will we be out of the woods? And for the answers on that, let's bring in FiOS 1's news meteorologist, Jeff Desnoyers. And Jeff, I know we were forecasting that it was, you know, the Super Bowl was going to dodge a bullet here and have decent weather yesterday, but did we expect to get the accumulation we got today?
You know, I think the storm really took shape over the weekend, Rich. You know, we talked about light precipitation on Monday when I left here on Friday, and then on Saturday, this thing really started to develop in some of the weather models, and the more and more we got into the weekend, the more and more snow it wanted to put out. But the good news is the tail end of it is pushing on through now, and Kevin Vesey mentioned something. The roads are mainly just wet now. But temperatures drop tonight. Black ice will be a major issue, especially secondary roads and overpasses, even when the snow stops. We still have a winter storm warning in effect for under an hour now. This is winding down. The snow is really just about tapered off. We're just concerned with a little bit in the way of some icy, slushy roads, and that's why the Weather Service is letting this thing ride until 7. You can see the back edge of the precipitation pulling through. So as we get into the next hour, snow comes to an end, and we'll actually start to lose the cloud cover tonight, and that will allow those temperatures to drop off back in the low to mid-20s, and that's why black ice is a major concern. Here's some of those snow totals for you. Woodmere, 7.2 inches. Lindenhurst, 7 inches. Same in Levittown. JFK, where the temperature was 55 degrees on Super Bowl Sunday, had 6.5 inches of snow. LaGuardia, just under 6.5 inches. And Central Park picking up 8 inches. North Caldwell, 7.5. Elizabeth, 7.4. And Clifton and Wayne, just around 7 inches. So you're talking about a sizable storm, caused major headaches for the morning commute. But now as we get into the evening hours, the plows now turn into salt and sanders because the roads are mainly clear now. The black ice becomes the issue. How it worked out, the low pressure, it wasn't all that weak. But when they come from the south and west, a very important track. If the track goes too far to our west and kind of goes up and around us, we get into warm air and it becomes just a big old rain event. But what happened with this system and why the models started to strengthen this system considerably as we went into the weekend was the track of the low was just to our south. Anytime that happens, all you need is just a little bit in the way of some cold air. And as the low tracks to our south, the colder air from Canada rushes in. It's not Arctic air. This is a heavy, wet snow. It's not fluffy and blown around. It's got a high water content. But what happened was with the low tracking to the south, it pulls in that cold air, and therefore just enough cold air to give us a nice old wet snow event across the region. If this low tracks slightly to the north, it changes the entire precipitation pattern. You get into a little bit more warm air and you get rain. So that track, really very important, and it really all came together Saturday and Sunday.
You know, Jeff, it was funny. I spoke to somebody upstate who said usually we're the ones getting banged the worst around. And yeah, they got it, I think, one of the first storms this season. But the last few, it's really been more coastal and even in the southern parts of the states that have been getting it hit. I mean, and all things, I guess, you know, you got to put it in perspective. It's not as bad as those poor folks in the Midwest. But that all said, around the, you know, metropolitan area, really the upstate areas have been shielded from some of the worst stuff that seems to be along the coast.
You know, it's funny. It's kind of interesting how the patterns worked out this year. Niagara Falls has had a lot of snow right on the lake. But if you go upstate New York or even like northern Vermont, all the ski resorts, they're just wishing they could get a storm like this. We just continue to get one right after another. The track is really favoring a coastal track. And when that happens, that usually means we stay very active and areas to the north don't get very much. And we're not talking about just this storm. I mean, we're talking about the chance for multiple storms coming up for the rest of the week, a very active pattern pattern on the coast continues.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that a little bit later in the program, you and I. And I'm hearing some guys, I know you're going to grimace because they think they're jumping the gun. They say feet of snow, not inches, feet of snow. I know you're not going to go there yet here, but we are looking at a couple more systems coming through and potentially a bad one on the weekend, right?
Yeah, and sometimes, too, when you get into not just a snow event, you talk about a little bit of icing involved. That can make matters even worse. You might be better off just getting snow than mixing it up with some freezing rain and sleet. That's what we may have for Tuesday night and Wednesday.
Right. Well, I'll check back in with Jeff before this hour's out, and we're going to tell you what this week might look like. I know usually weather, not a lead story, but today with what happened and with what could be coming down the pike, you'll understand why before this hour's out. Okay. When we come back here, we will switch gears. We're going to be talking about a story that on Friday managed to even push the Super Bowl to the back burner, and that was more developments on the Christie investigation, including a one-time major appointee saying Christie knew. He knew about the scandal before he has led the general public to know about it. We're going to get into that and this so-called evidence. Where does the investigation go from here? A federal prosecutor joins us on the set here to tell us where it goes and some of the most important questions that still need to be answered. Stay with us.